Hello everybody, it's the Insane Game Freak here to bring you kind of a video explaining why I pre-ordered the console for the Nintendo Switch. I'm particularly talking about. For those who don't know, I'm not the biggest Zelda guy, and according to the rest of the launch, at least as of today, we don't. That's pretty much the only real big thing coming out, or anything that most gamers would say is really worth a damn. Maybe next to like Bomberman. So the question is, why pre-order the game at launch? Why pre-order the system at launch, and why get the system? Now, this is not an advocate of why you should get the system. This is just me explaining why I got the system, and it'll kind of go into some things that are assumptions on my part. But then, once again, this is just my perspective. So, uh, first things first. I will agree with the statement that the launch lineup for the most part is pretty bullshit. Although Nintendo launches have been pretty bullshit for a while now, I think this is at least more in line of the GameCube. No, the Wii's launch than it is the Wii U. The Wii's launch, because I didn't. For those who don't know, I didn't get the Wii U until like mid 2013, and I'm using a very similar logic of why I got the Wii U in 2013 instead of 2012 as why I'm getting the Switch at launch. It's because the games that I really wanted to play weren't coming out until pretty close to that. For example, I got it like right before E3, but I knew the games I wanted to play back then was Wonderful 101, Rayman Legends. I believe Sonic Lost World was already announced at that point. And then like Mario, everything like that was like 3 or 4 games I wanted. And Pikmin 3, that was the other one. Pikmin 3. It was like 3 to 5 games I already wanted. Then I pick up and it was like a few months before. Because I don't know about some of you. I know some people are crazy enough to drop like $600 or $700 on everything at one day. I'm the kind of guy that if I can buy my console beforehand, I'm going to buy my console a little like a month or two beforehand. So I'm not dropping $700 at once. It's not appealing to me. I don't like dropping that kind of money all at once. That's besides the point. It's a very similar situation here. Because even though I'm not the biggest Zelda head, I am willing to play Zelda. I'm more than likely going to get Bomberman, which supposedly, I need to hear about the price point, but supposedly, the price, if the price is right, I'm more than likely going to pick up Bomberman. ARMS comes out in the spring, which is more likely going to be April or May. And then you have Splatoon in June or July. That's a good round. I would almost bank that Splatoon will probably come out early June. Like an anniversary, because I believe the first game came out like late May. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're just hitting that same mark again. And my thought process is like, well, they put out Splatoon 1 right in the beginning of June. It wouldn't surprise me that they did it again and just kept the same momentum going. Because then it will actually be its 2-year anniversary, which is a nice way of kind of celebrating its second anniversary. So that's like 3 or 4 games I already want right there, not even including things later on in the year, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which supposedly is coming out this year. A lot of people don't believe that, which is understandable because you fucking said a Xenoblade game is coming out in 2017 when the last one came out, what was it? 2015, right? Yeah, 2015. Xenoblade Chronicles X came out in 2015, although I'm pretty sure they were done with the game by like late 2014. So there's only been like, what, 2 or 3 years they may have been working on this game? It doesn't seem like it's been long enough to justify having a new fucking game out already ready, but we'll see. Then I got my dream game as far as Fire Emblem Warriors being announced. I'm more likely going to pick up ARMS. There's already, like, the launch doesn't seem great, but the first year seems great. And there's already enough, there's at least 5 games I can think of that I would buy on it so far. Not mentioning maybe some other smaller things like Disgaea 5, because why not? And I don't own a PlayStation system, which is the only way I'm playing that console. I mean, that game, I don't know if Disgaea 5 is on PC. I haven't looked. We'll see. I think that, but to me, that was my reasoning, is that it's a good lineup of games that I want now. Also, because the announcement of these games, and a lot of them being more Japanese focused than Western focused, is a big thing. I know a lot of people are still throwing shade at it. It's like, oh, it doesn't have third party support. It doesn't have Western third party support. Well, I'm gonna be real with you. It's the same argument I use against Xbox with its exclusives. Xbox would have to go an entire generation of consistent exclusives and keeping those exclusives for me to believe that. And that hasn't happened, therefore I don't believe that Xbox will keep any of its exclusives, which has been proven right throughout the entirety of the Xbox One's life cycle so far. The same thing goes with Nintendo. I'm not expecting Western third parties to be on Nintendo consoles until Nintendo consistently gets them for at least a generation, which, as you've seen with the Wii U, it has not been proven, so I wasn't expecting Western third party on this thing. As soon as you see it as a tablet, and they were having the conversation between Pascal and Integra, like, I was like, yeah, it's probably going to have Japanese support. And that was my concern. When I saw that's one of the reasons why I don't mind the reveal as much as some other people do. Because the thing I was most concerned about was the Wii U. See, people need to understand something. It wasn't that the Wii U didn't have third party. The Wii U didn't have Japanese or Western third party support. The Wii U's Japanese third party support was just co-development with other games. With Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Pokken Tournament, Star Fox Zero. It's that same... or Hyrule Warriors. The only Japanese third-party support they had was in making games for the system using their IPs, or making up a new IP for them. That was the extent of the Wii U's Japanese third-party support. So that's something people need to understand. The Wii U didn't have either, really. It had more Japanese, but it was only in terms of development for games, not necessarily games in general, because Japanese developers still weren't putting games on the fucking system. You know, we were still missing titles, and the only system that was getting games consistently was the fucking 3DS. And it's like what Nia said in her video, and this is something I already agree with. If the Switch can get at least the Wii U, if the Switch can get at least the 3DS's type of support, I'm perfectly fine with that, because that's all I fucking need. Because those are the type of games I play the most of anyway. That's why I was so into the idea of a hybrid console, because all you need to do is give me the hardcore big titles on the Nintendo console while giving me some of the cool third-party games we get on Nintendo handhelds. We get another Monster Hunter game, I don't give a fuck at that point. It's like, yeah, I'm missing. And look, and that's because that was my expectations. I didn't think this console was going to get all third-party. But if it gets Japanese third-party, to me, that's enough. Because you'd be surprised that the problem with the Wii U has a lot of issues with every genre fan. The other thing is that there's more fucking genre variety this year around. The one thing I could not fucking stand, and I even mentioned it, I think it was like around like late 2013, early 2014, where I was just like, dude, the majority of the games that have come out for the Wii U are all fucking platformers. They platform you to death. And they're all like 2D platformers, minus like a couple. And that was my biggest, I think I even mentioned in the Juice Loose podcast. I was like, what is with the redundancy in the genre? And then we didn't start getting any genre shifts until later on in the year, when we started getting things like Smash and Bayonetta. I'm missing a few games. What games am I missing? There were more games that came out in 2014. Mario Kart. There were a few other things. Hyrule Warriors came out in 2014. We started getting more variety in genres. That's actually one of the reasons why people say, if you look at people's top 10 lists for 2014, you'd be hard-pressed not to find a Nintendo game on it, versus 2016's list, which not so much. There's a reason for that. And that's why I also like about this year one. This year one has more games. This year one has more variety in games. And there's more in there, and it's more consistent in terms of layout so far. They even got games I wasn't expecting, like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I'm not the biggest DBC fan as lately, nor am I for the games, because just like every other Dragon Ball Z fan, I kind of burnt myself out throughout the entirety of the PlayStation 2 up into the Wii era, where the 360 and Xbox 360 PS3 era, I just got burnt out. I said, I don't want to play Dragon Ball Z for a while. And I haven't really picked up a Dragon Ball Z game since. You got games like that coming out, and then there's like the rumors of a Tales game coming out and shit. That's insane, because we haven't had a Tales game on a Nintendo console since the GameCube, right? If this thing can be another GameCube and hit like 20-something million, that's a success in my mind, because the whole goal is to not do as bad as the console before you. I'm not expecting the Switch to sell gangbusters. I'm expecting it to do better than the previous generation. And some of you would say that's a low bar to set. Yeah, but when you fuck up, you kind of need to incrementally get back up. No one goes from the bottom to a hero in like one jump. Usually you got to take some steps to get to that point. And the way the Switch is designed, I wasn't expecting Western third party support. You know, I might miss out on a couple of Batmans, which, considering Arkham Knight's reviews, not feeling as much of a bad thing as it probably is supposed to be. That's my main thing. That was the things I'm looking excited for, and the reason why I pre-ordered the console. I didn't pre-order the console under this false notion of just, oh, it's a Nintendo console, so I'm automatically going to buy it, because the Wii U I didn't do that with. The Wii U I bought like almost a year after it came out. Probably like 6 months, probably 7 months after it came out, because I was just looking for games to play on it. Oh yeah, Rayman Legends was another one. And a few other things I want to talk about, because there are a few things that have me excited for this console. I know a lot of people have been down on the online, myself included, because the online situation as of right now sucks, because there's not enough clarification, and the clarification we do have fucking sucks. Let's just be real here. But here's my thought process, and the reason why I'm looking forward to this version of Nintendo moving forward is because now that you're charging people for online, one of the biggest criticisms for Nintendo consoles was it's 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012. You have a console that can play online games and then don't ever release online titles. If you're going to make people pay for online, it doesn't make any sense to make them do that if you don't have any steady stream of games coming out with online features and functionality in it. And if you've noticed, they've steadily been moving towards doing more online in their games within the last year or so, because the last few games they've come out with, well, not every game, but the last few games they come out with have online features. Xenoblade had online. Pokken Tournament had online. Codename Steam had online. Granted, that felt like it was thrown together at the last minute, which is probably the reason why I don't like how everyone was like, you need to throw online on everything, because that's literally what people are not saying it, but that's essentially what they're implying. They want Nintendo to throw online into every franchise they have, and not every franchise needs an online, especially because that's more development time that takes longer for a game to come out. And now, if people would be happy with a game getting online later as a patch, that's a different story. But the point is, because they're forcing you to pay online, my thought process is, you can't make me start paying online and give me nothing to play online. So I'm expecting you to give me more shit to play online, meaning for those who complain about Nintendo not having enough online games, we'll get more online games, which builds their online audience, which will make it more appealing to third-party developers to create online features in their games, because they're like, look, we have a consistent Nintendo audience. That's one of the advantages of having a paid online service, is that it now forces Nintendo to make more online games. Because if you don't, then no one's going to buy your service. You buy a service to get features. I don't give a fuck about voice chat and messaging if I have no online games to play with them. So, and even this year, I think we already have, as of right now, we have Mario Kart 8 that has online. We know Splatoon 2 has online. We know ARMS is going to have online. Bomberman has online. What else? I'm trying to think of everything off the top of my head. It's kind of hard because Xenoblade, I doubt it. Mario Odyssey, I doubt it. There might be a few other games I'm missing, some of the smaller titles. Those are just the ones off the top of my head, and then there are a few titles I don't know about. There's already 4 games, which is like almost half of the amount of titles the Wii U had in its life cycle. I'm pretty sure the NBA 2K18 port will probably have online. I'm pretty sure the FIFA port will have online. I can't think of a lot, but that's way more. That's already more than what we were used to with Nintendo consoles and online, and that's only within the first damn year. Not even the first year, like the first 7 months. So that's the first thing, is that I'm looking, is that because of the way they're functioning this also means that we're more likely to get more smaller Japanese games, because let's be real here. I think the dudes that are bringing Disgaea 5 to the Switch are already talking about co-developing multi-platform titles between the PlayStation 4 and Switch. And the reason why is because the guys realize that when it comes to RPGs, there's no reason to make a console RPG as much, and those console RPGs don't sell as much as they could because they're console games. RPGs are one of those titles that really work well as handheld titles, pick up and play, which is probably one of the reasons I bet you Bomberman will sell relatively well because of that. Pick up and play games are what you want on your console. So yeah, it's weird that we have some a lot of RPGs and tactical games, but it makes sense because those are the pick up and play kind of consoles. I pick the bitch up, I play it for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, put it down, go do something else. It's Splatoon totally works for this manner because Splatoon only has like 3-minute online matches, which I'm pretty sure hasn't changed that much from the Wii U version. It's the same thing with Smash Brothers. You jump into a match, you play a few games, and then you jump out. Those, surprisingly enough, a lot of Nintendo's IPs do work already well with a portable functionality, which is why you saw a lot of ports to the 3DS. And I think that's their thought process. A lot of their games already work for that manner. So having pick up and play games, and for third parties especially, the Japanese ones that don't use as much, aren't ahead in terms of graphical intensity, so most Japanese games can end up on the Switch. The fact that we're getting like anime games again, which we haven't gotten anime games in a while, and some of you will go, what the fuck, who cares about that weeaboo shit? You'd be surprised how many niche audiences you can grab and how much that can build into down the line. Because you see how well the 3DS sells, and the 3DS doesn't get like insanely mainstream games. A lot of their games are niche titles. Bravely Default was a new IP, sold like fucking hotcakes when it first came out on 3DS. Project X Zone did well enough to get a fucking sequel. You know, these smaller games can build into a strong fan base, and if they put out a Pokemon game, if they put out a Pokemon game on this console at the end of the year, it will automatically probably sell around like 10 million. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Switch was at 10 million by the end of the year. I would not be surprised. But that all fucking depends on how they handle everything else in the marketing. But that's the reason why I'm generally excited for the console. There are some problems. There's some obvious problems. My biggest concern is the online. That's my current biggest concern. Some of you, I know some people are complaining about the accessories, which I'll be honest, are not cheap by any means and are expensive. My thing is though, if you've been a handheld gamer, you've been used to this kind of bull. It doesn't justify. I want that to be stated. It doesn't make it right. It's just that it's another one of those things that I'm kind of numb to it because I've been playing handheld since the Game Boy Color, and I've always had to buy dumbass accessories. The difference is now is that the accessories are at like a premium, like a home console's price. Instead of me paying for like a fucking light for my Game Boy Advance, the stupid ass squiggly lights because the Game Boy Advance didn't have a backlit screen or cases and covers for the console, or the link cables you had to buy if you wanted to trade for Pokemon, the GBA connector to the console, and this is Nintendo's toy manufacturing side coming through. Nintendo used to sell toys, and you can tell that mindset is still there because they still know how to play the game with accessories. I'm pretty sure they've made killings off of all their accessories throughout their previous consoles because that's how the game is played. If you want to sell shit, you make accessories to shit. It's like, okay, fine, I'm selling $300 for the console. They probably if they're making a profit, it's probably it's probably like $1 or some shit. Like, it's probably not anything major. It's just a decent enough, it's just a profit. Didn't have to be a huge profit. But then, you make up your money, you sell fucking accessories to every goddamn thing. Which, honestly, most competent adults won't deal with this problem as much, but it's the whole, what about the kids? Well, people go out and rebuy iPads and tablets all the fucking time. It doesn't seem that different to me. But as I said, there are some concerns. I'm surprised how many people are concerned about the $50 difference in price. Because people would have still been like, because to me, I don't understand if it was $250, which, obviously you prefer a cheaper console just for your own wallet's sake, not necessarily for the company. Is at $250, it's like, okay, cool, $250, but then people would have just made the argument that, well, the PlayStation 4 is only $50 more, and you get a better console. So what difference would it have made if it was $300 or $250? It would have been better probably in the long run if it was $250. But I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. But hell, I'm not a fucking financial analyst. I'm not a genius with that kind of shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You guys let me know. I think that's all the major things I wanted to talk about. But that's kind of just my major. That's my major reasoning for buying the console. Why I'm excited for the console and the potential the console has. The console, as of right now, still has some problems. But I'm hoping as the months go on, because they essentially only have like a month and a half left before the console comes out. What they're essentially going to do is just keep hitting us with Switch shit. We already know it's going to show up in a whole bunch of cons. They're probably going to consistently keep throwing out stuff about the Switch, whether it's about game announcements, ports, features, what have you. We'll hear about all of it consistently and thoroughly. And from what I heard, it sold out relatively quickly in the US, which should give Nintendo a hint of maybe we should probably start refilling those pre-orders. But you know, it's Nintendo, so you never know how that's gonna go. But anyways, that's been my thoughts and impressions. Please leave yours in the comments section below. Thank you all for watching, and I apologize if you're tired of all the Switch videos, because unfortunately for you, when Wednesday comes around, which is not tomorrow but the day after tomorrow, you're probably going to get another Fire Emblem video, so it's something to look forward to, I guess. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Ooh, ladies.